Thanks for tuning into the Combat Sports broadcast. My name is Matthew Hebert, and my guest today is Clayton Pye, my friend and teammate from Brock University, and the winner of the 86 kilogram wrestling Canadian Olympic trials of 2020. You might not recognize him right now because he's got the quarantine beard in full effect, but give it up for my buddy Clayton Pye. Oh, hey, Clayton Pye. How you doing? Welcome to Combat Sport Broadcast. How you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here.
Sweet. So, where are you right now?
I'm at home. Yeah, I'm at my dad's house, just chilling in the backyard. So
Nice. The beard's looking luscious, as I mentioned a few moments ago.
Yeah. I'm not gonna shave until pandemic's over.
Okay. Is that like kind of like a protest or what?
No, it's not like a protest. I'm not like anti-pandemic or anything. I just thought it'd be fun. See how long it gets.
Cool.
Get a ZZ Top beard going.
Yeah. Anyways, so last time I saw you, it was kind of like just as everything was starting to hit the fan. We were on our way back from Pan American trials in Ottawa. Road trip with the coaches. And you're actually having kind of like all the COVID symptoms, so it was pretty sketchy. Thankfully, you're still here, so that's good.
Yeah.
What ended up happening with that?
It was so I didn't get to. They wouldn't test me because at the point when I had it, they were only testing people who'd been out of the country and like healthcare workers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, they were short on swabs, right?
Yeah, they didn't have enough swabs, which is at the time seemed insane to me because I was like looking at a jar of swabs when they told me they didn't have any swabs. And I was just like, what do you mean? Swabs right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically I had all the symptoms, and when I first got sick, like the time where it got serious was like a couple days. Like it went from like nobody was really caring. Yeah, like because we had Pan Am games the one weekend, and nobody really was concerned about it then. And then the next weekend we had trials, and everybody was super concerned about it. And when I was coughing and stuff, because I was sick the weekend before and I was coughing and stuff, and I had a really hard go at Pan Am games because I just didn't have my cardiovascular health with me. And I still didn't have it the next weekend either. And it got to the point where I was just like brain dead because I was feeling so sick, cutting weight and everything. So I don't know if it was COVID that I had. A lot of people were looking at me like I had the plague, but I'm healthy now and grateful for that anyway. But yeah, it was definitely weird. I went to 3 different places trying to get tested, and
it was kind of nerve-wracking for me too because I'd been in the car with you, so we'd been in like close proximity or whatever. And then I'm sure everybody on the team was probably messaging you pretty regularly, asking how you were doing, checking up. And
everybody in the car at least. And I was concerned too for most people that were in the car, just checking in to see if they were sick. Javon didn't seem to think it was possible for him to get it. He thought he was immune, superhuman, and he didn't get it. Nobody else got sick, thankfully, so that's good. But I still don't know whether or not I had it. Maybe when they come out with tests to see if you can test for antibodies or whatever, we'll know. But as of right now, it was just kind of a shitty experience to not be at my full capacity at
for sure
at the games. So.
And now the Olympics are moved, so will you have like more opportunity to try and qualify for Tokyo?
Yeah, more time anyways. Sorry,
nice.
Zeus is right
trying
in
to
my
lick
face
you
here. Lay down.
And also, one of the times, like, I messaged you, like, you didn't respond, which is understandable because you probably had a bunch of people checking up on you, like, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then I got, like,
Yeah.
really nervous because I was like, oh, my goodness, like, is he okay? Like, but then
Yeah.
I saw you posting on Facebook, like, a few days later, so I was like, whew.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
Yeah.
my girlfriend's, like, sister and parents were, like, trying to stay away from me and stuff. They're all
Mm-hmm.
nervous. But anyways, it's transitioning from the whole COVID thing. I know it's not, like, your first time having like a sketchy, I wouldn't say this was a near-death experience, but you have had a near-death experience in the past. If I could just ask you a bit about that. You almost died of a stab wound about 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that's I haven't really been able to talk about it too much until recently, and Toronto Sun did a really good, like, full story on it, but I'll spare the details and just say basically 2 years ago I got a stab injury to the chest, and I still got the scar there. I don't know if you can see that all right on my phone, but
Yeah, jeez,
yeah,
it's a
so
few inches.
yeah, and it was a couple inches deep too. In the It went all the way down to my subclavian artery. Didn't puncture it, thankfully, but every time they look at the ultrasound, the scar tissue's like right on
Yeah.
it. And if you're, a doctor or a nurse or somebody studying the human body, you know that the subclavian artery, clavian artery, when that gets nicked, you don't got a lot of time left. So I was very lucky, just a few push-ups away from the end of my life. But
good thing you have a built chest.
Yeah, that's what the doctors kept telling me anyway.
Jeez. And like and I know in the I just
you're really lucky, and I'm like, oh well, still got stabbed, so I don't feel super lucky, but yeah. So
and I know I just looked at the article that was written on you earlier today, and it said like you had contemplated quitting wrestling altogether after that, and it was like a really hard time in your life. I was just wondering, like, having had that near death experience and gone through all that, do you think it has made you a stronger person and wrestler?
Yeah, it definitely made me, after going through it and persevering through it, I definitely feel like I overcame something, and that I could do a lot more. Um, uh, and it just was like a big personal success. And I don't want to glorify it too much, because I don't want people to put in those situations where they're making it so that they have to go through hardships and stuff. But whenever you do have to face adversity and that sort of thing, I even said on the OUA or the OAWA podcast last week, or was it Monday, maybe last Wednesday, that you got to kind of embrace that adversity, and then once you do that, you can conquer anything, sort of thing.
For sure, yeah. I know our coach Marty Calder talks so much about like mental toughness and grit, and how big a component of wrestling that is. So I was curious about that. Anyways, you won Olympic trials, Canadian Olympic trials this past year. Could you tell me a bit about your experience with that? I know you got like a hole burned in your face after, and scar looks it's healed up pretty nice.
That's another scar. I still don't get too much better than that, but yeah, I was getting some headbutts. So that actually happened in the first round. I got split open, and
that was
the first round of the first,
right?
Finals, first round of the first match, it got split open, and then I had to deal with that and if you seen me after the tournament, it wasn't just my eye that was hurting. Like, bruises and welts and stuff all over my face, right? So it wasn't it wasn't for the faint of heart. You had to you got to be tough if you're gonna wrestle, Alex Brown, because he's a bulldog and he's gonna hurt you a little bit. But I don't know how much of it is just that's the way he picked up his skills or whatever. He's still a good wrestler and everything. In respect to him for making it that far in the trials and giving me some good matches and stuff. But I was getting frustrated for sure with the headbutts and all that. But that's just how life is, man. You got to roll with the punches, and you can't blame it on the ref. You gotta win so superiorly that there's no question, right? So
for sure,
teched him in the 2 matches that I won. Got frustrated in the second match and was trying to point fingers and blame people, and that's where I lost that match, right? Because I wasn't focusing on the wrestling. I was focusing on what he was doing and not what I could do. And that's kind of going back to the stabbing thing too. That's kind of where you gotta sorry, this dog's bugging me. Lay down, boy. That's kind of where you gotta put your to make this better for me, and how can I basically make these lemons into lemonade and that sort of thing, right?
Nice. And so for those who don't know, trials this year was held in Niagara region, in St. Catharines kind of area. So how did you find the home court advantage? Did you think it influenced your success at all?
Definitely. I don't travel, and one of the things that happens when I travel is I get sick. So even going to Ottawa seemed like it was weighing on me the days before we left, and being at home, sleeping in your own bed, and it just lowers your stress level a little bit, So I also had the benefit of having my family around to help take care of anything I needed and make sure that I had all my Gatorade and protein shakes and all the meal replacement stuff I needed for after weigh-ins and that sort of thing. So that was very, very handy, and having all your fans and friends and stuff there cheering you on definitely raises your spirits as well.
Nice. And then after trials, you also won U Sports this year. You're up 2 weight classes, correct?
No, just 1 weight class. Just one weight class.
Okay.
The guys I were wrestling felt like they were 2 weight classes heavier, but
yeah, I remember at OUAs there was that one guy who looked like Captain America.
Job. Yeah. Job's a nice guy. I like Job. He won Guelph's Athlete of the Year this year. So a little congratulations to Job for that. He's just freak of nature, that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's just a big muscly guy, muscly bastard.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite move? High crotch?
Bro, you know what my favorite move is. Don't be silly. It's front headlock. Everybody knows.
Walk, talk, throw, front headlock.
Yeah, exactly. I could run a clinic on that move.
Yeah. So what's
that's coming from Marty too. So
yeah. So what's your next goal? Olympics?
Yeah, obviously, it's like, who doesn't want to go to that if you get the chance, right? So I got my eyes set on the next qualifier, and that's been moved back a year or two. And a lot of people, kind of feeling weird about it. I feel pretty good about it. It gives me a lot more time to train. And like this year, I definitely made a huge leap in my wrestling. Like I broke the ceiling, and it was just just a year of training. It's just like there's a practice where things click, or a few practices that you get in that make things work, and that can change you completely as a wrestler. And when you get out on the mat, you're a different person, right? So I'm excited to have the prep time between now and the next qualifier. And whereas before, the next qualifier is going to be a hard one. So I was a bit worried going into it after not doing well at the Pan Ams, but now I'm optimistic. I feel like I could place if I do the right things and train hard enough.
Nice. How have you been adapting your training throughout all this?
That's the main thing, is if I'm going to be able to get the training I need to break that next ceiling and get to that next level where I'm competing really well internationally, right? And I was just talking to Marty, and best case scenario, we get back in September maybe, but that's best case scenario. The way it's looking is that's in a perfect world without a plague, right? But the way it's looking right now is that we might not even get back into it until like semester. So second semester, right, is when all the varsity guys will go back. So that's probably, that's when the school's opening for us to go back. So that's when our training would start, right? But hopefully soon be able to get a few guys together and find some mats and do some training and stuff. But as of right now, you're gonna catch a hefty fine if you try to do anything like that, right?
For sure.
So,
I've seen you've been putting in a lot of road work, biking and whatnot.
So I've taken up cycling. I'm starting to like that a lot. So I biked to my buddy AJ's house, and AJ, you've trained with and around him. So so we went for a bike ride from Ingersoll to Tilsonburg, and that's like a half-hour drive, but on the bike it's about 2 hours. So good 2-hour bike ride. I've been doing about 2 hours of biking every day.
Nice.
It's nice when you have somewhere that you're going to, but my house, and then bike an hour back. So that's been good. It's nice to get a different workout in other than wrestling too. It's not all bad, right? Like you can get to work on things that normally you don't have the energy to do or the ability to do. I've been trying to work my flexibility and get more mobility in my shoulders and stuff. And I actually spoke to Olivia DeBacco. We had a video call and discussed some possibilities of ways to make me more of a mobile wrestler. So that was nice. A little shout out to Olivia for helping me out with that. But yeah, I've got, my old coach gave me some training equipment. I've got a Bulgarian bag and a wrestling dummy. So they've been getting a lot of use out of them. Other than that, just a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, and sprints and runs and bikes and that sort of thing. Not a lot you can do, right? So
nice. Any advice you would give to other wrestlers on how to best keep in shape throughout all this?
Just do what you think you need to improve on. For some people, that's going to be meaning doing a lot of strengthening and stuff, and other people, it's going to, like me. I'm already plenty strong, right? What I need to work on is, my cardio maybe a little bit, and my flexibility is a big one that I want to start incorporating a little more, because I have the power, but if I can just, get into certain positions easier or drop my level easier, that sort of thing, and reach further or whatever, so I would suggest that for other wrestlers to take a look at themselves, see where they need improvement physically, and improve those areas. Because other than that, you want to improve technique, but you can't really do that if you don't have a partner, right? So watch videos, that sort of thing.
Nice. And so at Brock University, we do, well, not myself, but you do a lot of traveling, going to different camps and whatnot. What's been your favorite camp that you've trained at?
Favorite camp that I've trained
I know
at?
you went to Russia not too long ago.
I think Russia was probably my favorite. It's a toss up between Russia and Iowa,
Okay.
because Russia was, we learned a lot of really good techniques, and that was awesome. But I also like the grind, the hard work that Iowa puts us through. So they both have appeals, but in different capacities. I did really enjoy Russia though, just because it's Russia. You
Different
don't really get to go a different culture. You get to that aspect of it. Whereas when you go to the States, it's it's the States. It's not too different from Canada. So
yeah,
except for the wrestling culture, they love wrestling down there, and that's one thing that we need more of in Canada is
for sure.
People actually giving a crap about wrestling, and that's why I love doing these things with. I did one of these podcasts with the athletes podcast a while back ago. Did the one with Emily on the OAWA page, and like that's why I appreciate like what you're doing and trying to spread the word. You had Ligrid on here not too long ago, and that was cool. And whatever we can do to kind of create some more hype around wrestling, because it's not just the fact that there's not enough hype. It's like people have a hard time understanding it, and they have a hard time relating to it, right? So it's nice to do something where they can kind of understand stories and stuff. Flow Wrestling's been doing some really great documentaries and that sort of thing, kind of making hype. And so
speaking of growing the sport, Rory McDonald held that Look to Tour event, the Parabellum Look to Tour. What are your thoughts on that? Having more kind of like a MMA hype around the event, having alcohol sales, having the wrestling on a big stage. You went to the event, right?
I did get to the event. I don't remember why. I watched it online though. Watched the live stream. So but like even Olympic trials is one of the best examples of like making a bigger stage for wrestling and kind of hyping it up more. Like they had ticket sales, and that's not something you normally do for wrestling events, right? And there was walkout music, and I think in Niagara region, whenever we host a wrestling event, we do a really good job of making it cool. Like we've had beer gardens at the Brock University for wrestling events and that sort of thing. So I think that hyping it up, allowing people to get excited and kind of do it as a an event to have fun and go watch some wrestling, no different than you would go have a few beers with your buddies, watch a football game or a basketball game. So, I think that it's really important, especially for all the wrestlers that put so much work into their craft and stuff, and they don't really get the recognition they deserve, right? So, I think it's a great thing, creating more hype around this, and Rory and those guys. I hope they do a lot more of that stuff.
You used to live with Chris Prickett, right?
Yeah.
How was that kind of living with your coach? Did you find that it was good for your wrestling a lot, like lit a fire under you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made me hold myself more accountable. That was another point of adversity. I had a kind of a weird living situation because I was supposed to move into a building that I'm now, well, not right now, but I was the resident supervisor for.
Yeah.
So I had rented out, I'd sublet my room to one of our teammates, Jason. So he, was to move into my old room and then the building I was supposed to move into didn't end up being ready, so I couldn't live there, so I had nowhere to go. So I was pretty much homeless for the year after I got stabbed. I was homeless. So I actually lived with my buddy Vlad for a month, and you know Vlad MMA.
Yeah.
So I lived with him for a month, and that was good. We worked out a lot together. Then I lived with a good friend of mine, Darian Sterling, for a little while. I was just sleeping on on a foam pad on the floor in the living room at her house. And then
rough year for you.
Yeah, and that was 2 months. And then I moved into Prickett's house, and they actually had a spare room, and I put a foam pad on the floor there. And I was living there for like the rest of the semester. So I was there for like maybe another 4 months. And yeah, so it was nice. It was nice being there. And if I ever had any questions, I'd just walk upstairs and ask Prickett some wrestling tips and advice. So, but yeah, it was good. He's he's a good coach, and good to talk to just on a personal level as well.
Yeah.
So great guy to be around.
And where do you see yourself after your wrestling career? Do you want to become a coach, or what's the deal there?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much. I'm not sure I want to become a coach just yet. I'll probably do a little coaching here and there, and like wherever it pops up. But I don't think I would do that as my my job. I would do it. I would
more as a passion thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I'm at Brock. Like I don't know.
You're in engineering, right?
No. What, are you crazy? No,
I don't know.
You can't be this pretty and that smart. I'm in psychology, so.
Okay, nice. How you liking that?
That's good. Definitely helps. It helped me out a lot back when I was kind of in a hole from the stabbing thing.
Yeah.
And it's nice to understand how your mind works when you're getting anxious at tournaments and that sort of thing. So maybe consider a route in sports psychology at some point. But right now, I think the where I'm going to go after wrestling is probably into policing.
Okay.
OPP, RCMP, or that sort of thing. So
nice. Have you ever worked with any sports psychologists in the past?
I've been to like Brock has done clinics with us where they bring in a sports psychologist and they talk about mental toughness and positive self-talk and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
we've worked with them as a group, but I've not had any like personal interactions, like personal appointments or anything like that. But something that fascinates me, something that I think I have an innate ability for mental toughness.
For sure.
Even before the stabbing, I've had a lot of injuries and stuff and had to deal with them and that sort of thing. I don't know if maybe it's not a mental toughness thing. Maybe there's just part of my brain that registers pain isn't on or something. But I I think that sports psychology is definitely a useful tool.
Do you do much visualization work?
Not too much. Like I'll visualize moves.
Yeah.
But just moves. I don't. A lot of people like to go deep into it and visualize like where they are and like the stage and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's probably something I should incorporate as well. But when I'm doing visualization, it's mostly just, especially right now, it's mostly just to think about a technique or something, and it'd be something I just watched on a YouTube video trying to mimic a wrestler or something like that.
Is there any particular wrestlers you try to model after?
Recently, Marty and we had a phone call yesterday, Marty and I. That's where we were talking about. He's been sending me some guys to watch, and most recent one was Evan McDonald, which Brock alumni. He's an Olympian and great wrestler and stuff. So he and I have a similar body type.
For sure.
So Marty wants me to kind of focus in on his double leg and his gut wrench, and my gut wrench is pretty good. I kind of modeled it, after the way Evan does it. He gut wrench, yeah. So I've learned a lot from his, like, watching his gut wrench and him coming into the room and doing that sort of thing, like doing his gut wrench and stuff. So what I'm trying to figure out right now is his double, because anybody who wrestles me knows that I'm not a super big leg attacker. And I love my front headlocks and my throws and that sort of thing. And actually, Prickett made a funny joke at the SFU tournament, because I actually ran a big double on the gold medal match.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh my God, you front headlock the legs."
Anyway, speaking of your gut wrench, I think it was you, Marty, had said in the past about you only being able to do a really good gut wrench one direction. And then I think it was at the trials, you actually ended up going both ways to finish off one of your opponents.
That probably a bad time, because that's when I I was starting to get my gut wrench good on both sides. So that's not his fault. He because before that I did gut wrench only the one way. So it was just happened to be on the climb to doing it both ways. Just that I kind of do it both ways, and then we come back to practice that week, and he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, so I guess Clayton can do gut wrench both ways." So
nice.
That was pretty good accomplishment in my book.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll let you go. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, not that I can think of. Just everybody, keep their heads on straight and keep training hard and stay positive.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, and hopefully I get to train with you again soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sweet. See you, buddy.
All right, later, bud.